Okay, so this is a video that we've wanted to make now for a couple of weeks. It's a video where we share our successes and our failures with starting the Rabbitry of Hill and Creek Homestead. Our Rabbitry is intended to give us a sustainable protein source, but not just protein. It does a couple of things. It gives us our black gold, our fertilizer for our garden, and it's also kind of like a mini weed disposal unit. So if we pull any weeds anywhere around the homestead, we could just give them to the rabbits.
Yeah, and the best part we noticed is that whenever a wheelbarrow was dumped in the garden, that area automatically had more worms, better soil aeration, and dramatically changed the quality of our soil.
Yeah. Before we had our children, we practiced with breeding rabbits, and we had two New Zealand white rabbits. The buck we named Wesley, and the doe we named Buttercup, after Princess Bride movie.
We had one false pregnancy to start, but it was almost too easy. I don't remember any major issues with them and getting sets and sets of litters or kindles. But
Yeah. So when a mama rabbit gives birth, some people call it a kindle, and she gives birth to kits. That's what we call the baby rabbits. But inevitably, Buttercup's kindles, her numbers were going down. When she was first producing, she would have anywhere from 7, and then one kindle. I think we got 11 kits in one kindle. It was wild. But then her numbers started to decline all the way down to like where she was only having like 4 to 6 babies at a time. And so with our own family starting,
and it was winter.
Yeah, we decided to put our Rabbitry on pause.
And we built our new setup here. And the best part, we met a lot of people. They were so willing to share with us their experiences, but did not start as easy as we thought, or at least we remembered the first time.
Yeah, everything was going so well. Like the rabbit, we built the first hutch out of like recycled boards from an old axe throwing target, and of course a couple new boards. The breeders were so nice in sharing advice. But the phrase multiply like rabbits doesn't always apply, and I wanted to make sure I'm getting every point here. But our new rabbits, right, they weren't as easy as our old rabbits. I mean, they didn't produce as well. Do you want to talk about that?
So it started off where we thought it worked. We thought that they were building a nest. But when we would always count their days, it was always at least a week early. And we knew that was a bad sign because they didn't pull enough hair, and there was inevitably either stillbirths or they wouldn't make it. And it happened several times with each mama that we just couldn't figure out what was wrong.
Yeah, I remember a couple of times coming home and Andrea being really upset, saying that, unfortunately, the does had stillborn, or their kits were all stillborn, and it wasn't like we weren't trying to provide them with a good environment. We were spending time with them every day. They were basically like pets for us. So we were giving them treats, of course, trying not to fatten them up too much. We were ordering feed online so that we were getting a higher protein into their systems. This is also a good time to share that the breeder that we bought the does from was very helpful, and he was offering all kinds of suggestions.
Even all the online Facebook, like all the groups share its advice, experience, the protein issue, being scared or nervous, a lot of things they claimed impacted.
Yeah, but even the scared or nervous part, I mean, there was no signs of predators. There was no digging around the hutch. The wire wasn't pulled. An arrow marks his territory and patrols constantly. And the hutch is against the homestead, and we can actually hear when a rabbit is stomping their foot on the hutch a little bit. It's kind of funny at night. So we can hear things going on, and I don't think there was any kind of predator action that might have added stress to them.
The only last suggestion was summer heat. If that is a true thing, yes. But we weren't breeding in July and August, so we were skipping the hot season. We just couldn't figure it out.
And the third time, we also had we purchased a new buck from a different breeder, and he was a proven buck as well. So when the third cycle came around, and the one mama, she had a false pregnancy. That's where they build a nest, but they don't give any birth. And the other one again had stillborn. It was just time to try a different stock. Yeah, so it was kind of a really sad and stressful time, because we put a lot of time and effort and money into trying to start the Rabbitry.
But new set, everything is so much easier. Seems effortless, like originally back at the old house.
Yeah, the new mamas that we have, again, I have to tip my hat to Open Door Homestead, because they were very helpful in giving us advice and helping us get our program off the ground here at Hill and Creek. But it was right to bat. We had 2 does that kindled very well. They built their nests on like day 28 or just about there, like right when they were supposed to, and they both gave birth to 7 kits. But do you want to tell them about what our plan is here?
So we noticed that in the older litter, the one that was born first, there were a couple runts, you would say, but they seemed to fix themselves. It seemed they bounced back pretty quickly, and they all got their plump bellies like they're supposed to. But our newest litter, we have one that we're watching that still shouldn't be, still looks too skinny, and I don't like that it's not plump. And
it's a runt.
Definitely a runt. So we want to try to feed it.
Yes, and this is the emergency kit that
Yes.
If you're considering starting a Rabbitry, that you might want to have on hand. If losing a runt or losing smaller rabbits bothers you, this is something for you to consider. However, having livestock means that inevitably there's going to be some sorrow and some losses with new rabbits or new babies being born.
Mm-hmm.
But with that out of the way, here's our emergency kit that we can recommend.
Okay, we have the rabbit milk replacer, but you also, depending on how easy to find that, Blaze originally found kitten milk replacer.
Yeah,
There's 2 options.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
They're good.
Yeah, this isn't easy to find in stores. You're going to find this on the big web. This KMR, if you got a Tractor Supply around, or if you got like a pet store around, you'll probably find the KMR.
Yep. So to feed those things, though, we'll need some type of bottle, or you could use the plastic syringe, like for our kiddos with their medicine.
Yeah, when you have your late night, oh my gosh, our kid has a fever of 103, we got to give them child Tylenol. Like, if you save those syringes, those work fine.
Yeah. And we'll have to measure out our exact amounts. So we have some measuring tools, and we have the rest of our cleaning kit for the bottles.
A couple of things here in the emergency kit that you don't see. In case mama doesn't build a good nest, or in case mama, like in our case, a mama accidentally peed in her nest, and that got the kits really cold, so we had to kind of like frantically replace the nesting material and warm the kits up early in the morning, but luckily most of them made it.
So for that, we use cotton balls.
Yes, so emergency kit edition, in addition to having the formula, go ahead.
But yeah, in addition to the food items, we had cotton balls. You can also use dryer lint that doesn't have extra debris in it. People even save rabbit hair from old litters that they can reuse. We had pine shavings in it as well. But just having extra places to enhance the nest is also helpful.
Yeah, because if that nest gets wet in any way, you really, especially if it's getting cold at night and these kits are just less than a week old, you need to get all the wetness out. How are we making this formula? What are we going to do?
We're going to go the lowest dose possible. The lowest proportion of information. We need 25 mLs of our pre-boiled warm water. Not too hot, of course, but we'll do our skin test like for a baby.
Yeah.
And that takes 2 scoops of this stuff.
This is making way too much for a less than 2-week-old rabbit
there's
kit.
some I can't even be.
Yeah, I mean, I would not go anywhere near more than like 2 mils for this young of a rabbit. And if you're contemplating doing this, you would need to do this multiple times a day. The other method that you could try is a forced feeding. Lay mama on her back, and it kind of puts her into a stasis. And then once she's on her back, you can rest the runt on top of mama's belly, and the runt will find the nipple so that the runt can feed. I'm a little bit leery about doing that because every time I put a rabbit on their back, it's a stressful situation. They don't like going on their back. They fight, at least in my experience. Now, if you have day-to-day interactions with your rabbits where you're consistently putting them on their backs, maybe they're not as stressed out. Maybe you have a very well-behaved rabbit with a very good temperament, but
ours are all different.
Not all like all of our rabbits have different personalities. One is the sweetest rabbit. When I stick my head in the cage, she comes right up to the cage and sniffs on my cheek, and she's so sweet.
That's not her.
That's no. There are some other rabbits that are much more aggressive.
All right, so our kid medicine syringe has measurements on it already for you. So there's the milliliters. Go by tens. So this will be what I will trust for my water amount. And again, I'm using the amount recommended, even though it's going to be way more than we need, but I don't want to mess with the proportions. So I need 25 of pre-boiled warmed water. So this was boiled in the microwave, and it's still a little bit too warm, but as I mix it, it's going to cool down pretty quickly. So I'm going to get batches so that I have 25. So here is... Alright, this will make 25 mLs of our warmed water, and now we need 2 level scoops of our powder. Two scoops. And we just need to mix.
And after a rabbit feeds, Mama generally cleans them off and licks their stomach, and that stimulates not just their stomach but their private parts, and that stimulates them to go to the bathroom, and that's really important in developing their digestive system and making sure that they don't suffer from bloat.
Yeah.
So we'll have a warm paper towel. Some people use a cotton ball, just something to simulate the same thing that the mother would be doing.
Looks very thick.
Oh, here, let me zoom in.
But nice and creamy.
Hold on, could you tilt it more towards the camera? Okay.
Nothing's coming out.
Okay. Okay, so it doesn't appear to be liking the bottle, so now we're going to try the syringe.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
So
see the thing with the bottle thing,
go.
it's definitely
in its mouth
eating,
a little bit.
But and its ears are perking up. Okay, it definitely wants more.
It likes it.
Yeah, okay. Now, something to be very careful about is jamming way too much formula on a rabbit as you feed it, because you can actually cause them to drown. Yep, it's definitely wants more. Okay.
Looking off.
There you go.
Like a little...
So it's just a little bit at a time. That's all you're gonna do.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. Okay, look at its ears perk up. Yeah. Alright, so now it didn't eat a whole lot, but we'll still do a warm paper towel.
Is that what this was?
And we have to simulate the mother licking the rabbit, but then we'll just put it back to the nest. All right, so we're back in from putting the kit into the nest, and we're setting our expectations. There's not a high survival rate for a small rabbit like that, but we're going to make sure that she gets as much love and care as she can get for as long as she's with us.
And so that's why it's important to have your emergency kit. We have our rabbit milk replacer that we just used. We had different bottles. We had to use different nipple sizes for that. Our syringe, to just see every kit is different, just in case. There's also the kitten option. And we had our nest materials, our pine shavings, our cotton balls, our dryer lint. All that's important to have on hand, so if things don't go well, you can do your best.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in for this video. We wanted to share our successes and our failures, and hopefully this gives you an idea of what could happen if you start your own rabbitry. We hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any tips of how you like to care for smaller rabbits, please leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching the video.